Ciao.
Good morning, everybody. How are we all doing today? Oh, I'm noticing that the lighting is all kinds of messed up. Well, actually, this is a little more... It's actually a little more natural. You can tell how naturally human I am. Totes natural. Also, I just saw the message, Fio. Thank you so much for the 5th month. Holy shit. Damn. Dawn of the 5th month. That is wild to think about. And I'm also pleased to see that Streamlabs continues to not do the alerts every bloody time. I swear. But just gives me more confirmation that that I am ready to replace Streamlabs. Oy vey. Hey, really, Frank? Thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome back to the lab. How is everybody doing? It did do the alert on stream, but I have this little alert box that it's literally just the web page to the alert box, and that's supposed to show me the alert, play the sound, give me the indication that something is happening. Nothing. I call some bullshit on that bullshit. And in fact, there's a curiosity. I'm having a curious, as I think I heard it referred to once. Here, Twitch alert, Twitch stream. Nope, goes to the monitor. Well, that's fun. Alrighty, so that sound is borked. Yay! Pardon while I drink breakfast. I want to say it was like 4 or 5 minutes ago. I kind of went, oh shit, it's time for stream. I don't have time to cook my eggs. Smoothie. And what has probably been one of the best purchases for my kind of like work from home setup in quite some time. I actually I don't remember if I posted this in the Discord or not, but I got a new coffee machine, because finally, I hit that point where the tiny little coffee machine that used to be sitting behind me, it just couldn't hang anymore. That technically it wasn't single cup because it was filling up a full tumbler, which this is a 20-ounce tumbler, isn't it? Yeah, 20-ounce tumbler, give or take. And it couldn't hang. So now, please excuse. Oh wait, I should have been quiet because perhaps coffee pouring is an ASMR thing. But this thing is fantastic. Double-walled thermos, little plug to seal on the top. Technically speaking, I don't have to take the plug all the way off. I can just kind of like half turn it and pour from there. But. And now I have that thing can fill up this thing. Oh yeah, with the little inscription that that was made on it when it was bought for me. I think it can fill that thing up 2.5 times. So half day's worth of coffee. That can't be healthy, even though it's black coffee. That can't be healthy. So, let's see here. Let me get. Yes. All right. So, you'll get a little bit of a sneak peek into what I was working on. Well, you would get a sneak peek into what I was working on. What happened here? I hope the local coding mystic is doing well. Oh, the local coding mystic. I like that. I don't know why, but I really like that. Also, hello, Shining Sun Bro. How are you doing today? Thanks so much for stopping by, mate. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Decode was not showing on the screen. Also, I didn't start the bot. Stream Medbot. Oh, right, because I'm on the alerts window. So, you get to see a peek behind the scenes. Kind of working on a couple of things. We're not going to work on this today, but yeah. Let's see here. We need alert and alert.html. Got status? Nah. Get status. Yeah, it should be good. Let's see here. So this will be make vid with ffmpeg from GIF plus audio. Cool. So that I think use my aliases more. Okay, so rm Redis. I'll give you an update as to what that I don't have it checked out. And there we go. All right. That's fetched and up to date. Cool. All right. So, in a nutshell, what I was doing there was I was working on the feature for on-stream alert box, but I wasn't really working on the feature from the perspective of the bot. I was actually just doing some testing on how to even do that from just a like file perspective. Do I take a GIF and a sound and then overlay them somehow and then line up the audio and make it work? That didn't work very well. So a couple of people recommended that I try combining them, combine the GIF and the audio into a video, which I didn't know you could do. Apparently you can do that. So gave that a try, threw it onto the HTML page. It worked for the exception of it didn't actually autoplay the video, but I think that's because of Firefox. Firefox going, autoplay video, what is this, 1999? Deny. So we were playing around with that. But that's not what we're doing today. Modded Skyrim like no tomorrow. I love hearing which direction people go in whenever they mod the crap out of Skyrim, because aside from it being an insanely moddable thing, it always seems to go in one of two directions. Super, super high definition, replace all the textures and all the audio, crank it up to 8K, do all this type of shit. Make the most amazing, wholesome characters on the face of the planet. Hang on. Let me put that up for just a second, because apparently... Apparently that's not working, so I may have to redo my OAuth token. Let's find out. Oh no, that seems to be... Yeah, it seems to be okay. Okay, cool. For a second, it wasn't actually starting, and I was like, oh no. All right, that should be good, I think. All right, so what are we gonna work on today? Oh yeah, I forgot to check. Forgot to do a recording. I was gonna do a recording to check a vocal fry, but didn't quite get there. At least the ASCII Thulu looks decent.
So, how are you holding up? Because I'm a potato.
Aw. Thank you so much, Spooky, for the 5-month subscription. All are the best. And I still can't believe that this is dawn of the 5th month. That's madness. How are you doing? Thank you so much for stopping by. We need to do some WoW soon. I realize that I've had a WoW withdrawal. And I say that knowing full well that I don't wake up early enough. It's like, would you like WoW? Would you like WoW, Medj? Then get the fuck up. I'm sorry. Oh my god, that emote. I wake up so early. In comparison to the people around me, yeah. But all my friends, all you guys are in the not same as time zone as me. I know, right? Was it 14 hours, 16 hours? I did the math at some point. That just boggles my mind. Time is weird. Also, I'll tell this story real quick. We had a at work. We were talking about like consistency of date formatting across the app, which is something that comes up pretty commonly. And it's the question of, okay, well, what format do you want? And there's this big like internationalization push that's happening. So they're like, well, right now we have a couple of places where the dates are 4-digit year, 2-digit month, 2-digit day. You know, that I don't think that's used by anything. And the developers came in and they were like, well, that's just us using, you know, that's the format that it happens on the back end. So, you know, what would you like it changed to? And it did the thing. And then that got the discussion going of, okay, well, should it be month, day, year, year? Should it be what the rest of the world uses, I think, which is day, month, year, which is what I use. And then there's this discussion, and then somebody said time zone. I think I said time zone. It's like, well, do we need to do any time zone shifting? Oh my god, that Slack thread was massive, and it always is when time zone comes into the discussion. The second that you say time zone around a developer, oh, we start sharing fireside stories, PTSDs. We start talking about what we do versus what the user needs, locale shifting, and thankfully, though, I'm so pleased that everybody on this team standardized on the idea of fuck time zones when we bring it back to the back end. We're storing it in UTC 0. We can shift that time zone whenever we want. We just capture which time zone the user was in, and we store that alongside their user. It's like, yeah. UTC. UTC 0. Store your dates in UTC 0. I'm highly opinionated on this, just FYI. Store your dates in UTC 0. Store your users with their locale. Do the conversion. So much simpler. So much simpler than having to debug something in prod at 2 in the morning and having to ask the question, was this 2 p.m. Eastern time, Central time, Pacific time? Oh wait, this happened in our Greenwich office. Shit. Okay, or not Greenwich, whatever. It happened in one of our European offices. Shit, which time zone is that? And that, no. I'm not PTSD. I don't know what you're talking about. Exactly, really frank. Servers store in UTC 0, convert to local time when it goes down to the client. And even if the client reports a problem, convert that time to UTC 0, send it back to the server. That way, your debugging times line up. Anyway, sorry. Again, I'm not opinionated in the slightest. So the TLDR is that I didn't get to the centralized logging and Logros conversion. Shito will be very displeased. Obviously, we started that in the last stream. So we started to introduce a VimLS. How about Vim and log? And we kind of, sort of started to do this type of stuff. There was also something that I wanted to do, which was Funk Raw. I haven't quite done the thing. So I'll have to figure out what that looks like. But there was more that I wanted to do on the log side that I may or may not do. Also, you may notice the little yellow bars next to these functions now. I finally got Ale to work. So I actually have linting. COC, fantastic for LSP. Ale, fantastic for linting. Who'd have thought? Aw, thank you so much for the alert, Spooky. I appreciate it. Enjoy your time with the lab bots. They got an upgrade. They enjoy scritches. Just throwing that out there. Let's see here. And in fact, do one more thing here. Pull that over there. Yeah, that should work. All right. Can I just say that is one of the most handy screens? Like, it's also crooked as shit. Oh, that's gonna bother me. Nope. Hang on. That's gonna bother me. We do it like that. That's a little bit better. The illusion is fading. That's bleeding into here. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, no. This is what happens when you mess with things on stream. Eh. Alright, well, we're just gonna make it really long. God, that looks terrible. That looks absolutely terrible. Folks done goofed. I done did the goofy goofs. But that's okay. You know what? It's just gonna look scuffed AF for now. Boop. Can I say I really hate that resizing? Like, if I wanted to stretch the image that way, let me stretch the image that way. Don't size adjust it. You can never win. We're actually going to build things, I promise. One day, someday. So yeah, I think I want to knock this out real quick. Which hopefully should actually be real quick. That is not going to be real quick. So we may leave that, actually. Let me see here. Let me go into the logging handler. So right now, we're doing this thing. That's not really... Oh, right. Okay. Because the IRC client does its own tracing. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we can do this. We can do this real quick. We have info. We have error. And you might be wondering, why am I centralizing this to Logger? Why not just push this out to, or why not just push Logros out everywhere? And I'm starting to convince myself of that, to be perfectly fucking honest. One of the reasons that that I wanted to do this was to have something like this, where I could control certain parts of the log, and I could add additional metadata if I wanted to. And that's usually what I end up doing with these types of log functions. It starts off as just a pass through of, okay, log.info to log.info, log.error to log.error, blah, 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 blah. But then you end up doing stuff like this, where it's with Logros, you can add fields to the log. So log.withField error.fatal message, so on and so forth. And finally, also configuration of logs. Info level message. Yeah. There's also configuration for where the logs go. And if I have fmt.println and log.println and all that other stuff, all the standard out stuff everywhere, makes it really difficult to suddenly decide later to pipe those logs somewhere else. So with this, it gives me kind of a central place, hides which log provider I'm using, so I can swap those out as I please. And if there is log-specific configuration, such as in prod, I may ship logs to Datadog, Sentry, or Graylog, or something like that. I can configure that here, and then the rest of the code is more or less transparent to it. Or if I needed a in-memory logger, then I could set that up here, and the rest of the code doesn't care. Again, programming to boundaries. This is my log boundary. I will say as well, this is my typical blueberry banana smoothie. I dropped a chunk of dark chocolate into it. Oh my god. Blueberry, banana, dark chocolate, spinach, almond milk. Delicious. One must fuel the brain. Let's see here. So error logs an error message, and then fatal logs a fatal level message, attaches the error caused it, and causes app exit. Not exit 10, exit 1. There we go. I was not pressing the lower button. Whoops. All right. We got info, error, and fatal, which is 90% of what I do log-wise. So we want to get rid of that. Yoink, plonk. Oh, wait, let me try that again. Yoink, plonk. Ah. If I recall that I didn't do a vim command properly, I undo and I redo with the vim command so that I force it into my head of, hey, use the damn vim command. Ooh. Type config should have comment or be unexported. I love ale. I'll fix that later, but I love ale. This is now log.error. Ah, yes. So most of these errors should actually do something like this. And we can also have a func error message. We can say error message nil. We don't technically, actually, I don't know if we can do that. Nah, we'll just have them drop nil. And we'll say with field error. Something like that. So now we come back to IRC. That now works. Now this becomes error. Send pass failed. Info. This is more or less what we were doing in the last bit. The intention was to remove my constant failure to follow my own standard for logging. So now I have functions that will do it for me. Closes the RC connection. I'm just kind of going through and fixing some of those bits as we go along. Oops. I could probably turn this into a macro. Realistically, I could probably turn this into a macro. Yes. I need a trace method. So realize that I am doing a dumb The benefits of coming in and doing mundane tasks like changing log messages. You start to realize, huh? Should be a warn. Something like that. So we should have a warn. I think we have. Yeah. Do like that. I know this is horrifically amusing. This info. Channel returns a chan for bot event coming to the IRC client, or we'll change this. Used to send events to the IRC client and be a little more prescriptive. Set destination sets the outbound channel for bot.events the IRC client will send to. All right. So I think wrong here. Oh, is it logger? Why do I call it logger? Makes me think of lumberjack. Ah, yes. Max message size defines the maximum size of an IRC message that can be received. This is used to size the message buffer slice for Oh. Your language server doesn't support it. Eh? But I have renaming. Now that is strange. All right, I will have to look into that. Anyway. Oh yeah, I don't think we ever did the yeah, we didn't do the trace. We have log.trace? Oh, we do. Interesting. So what I was kind of doing there, slowly working up a better log. Oh, right. Fix all that. Fantastic. I was basically just wanting to convert IRC over since I have so much. Ooh. One. Now, why is it not picking those? Oh, Lord. I do a Vim update, and all of a sudden, boom. Happen. IRC go 243. Ah. Right. Hmm. Now that's interesting. So now I've got, ooh. Do a quick check here. Oops. Okay. So that's kind of working. That's not working. Aha. And it's because I made it a trace message. So what, yeah. So because I made this a trace message doesn't normally show up on stream because of various log level things. So what I really need is a log.raw. But then log.raw is basically just the same thing as log.info. Yeah, there we go. And the whole reason that I even had this in the first place was so that I could do things like, okay, well, show me these types of things. Show me these types of IRC messages so that I can use them for debugging. And yeah, that's interesting. So now if I do Cthulhu again, now we have the trace messages back. Sweet. That is bloody weird looking though. And it's it's weird looking on IRC as well, which is on the actual chat window as well, but what can you do? All right. So that converts let's see here. Convert IRC to use new log package bump to go 1.15, which yes, we did finally bump to every time. I need to figure out why it does that. Unknown username K makes no sense. Anyway. All right. So I don't think that's actually done. There's a lot more yeah. There's the handler templates, there's all that stuff. Yeah, I'll do that off stream. Thinking I could just very quickly do it, but no. No, not today. Not today. Let's instead Shall we look at the metrics store for on-screen chat or for on-screen stats? I feel like we're probably going to need that here pretty soon. Can also look into shoutout commands. Basically my own shoutout command instead of using Streamlabs. I did move, I don't remember if I talked about this or not, but I did move recognize point redemptions back since that was part of the code purge that happened, and now we don't have PubSub. Since we don't have PubSub anymore, that kind of puts a wrench in things. So got to figure out how I'm going to do that. That's probably moving towards the event sub, but not quite there yet. Same thing with AutoThank followers. I don't get a message for followers anymore, so well, I don't get a message for followers, period. Because apparently IRC still just doesn't add that. Makes me kind of sad. Stream start notification for Discord. I might just rename. Discord integration. Wow, that I hit the escape button. Whoops. Discord integration. That'll be a thing, probably. Yeah, let's look at the metrics store. Do I have metrics? No. Handler. I think the subs handler is where we needed this. Right. All right. Because we had this this thing that we added. I don't even remember how long ago that was. See here, let's show it. Yeah. So we have this little like on-screen counter that we were using as a test, just to show like, hey, whenever we fetch last sub, we do a thing. Interestingly, that's just showing that part, and I think that's because we didn't do anything. Yeah. We just did that part. Okay. And of course I have to swap things over. All right, so how does this currently work? All right, so all of that works. It's just we never actually made the label intelligent, number one. And we never did the update. Okay. Ow. I thank you, Phil. Ow. Love how every time I do that stretch, my shoulder just decides, you know, to hell with you. Crack. No. Can't really show it because she's so far away, but Tilly is just like flopped up on her back upside down. She's just staring at me. It looks like it's such a hard life being Tilly. Okay. The other part to this too, of course, is the metric store, which we don't have. Yeah. Go ahead and get that out of the way. Let's see here. So get checkout, which I really need an alias for. In fact, why not? You get a peek into the wonderful world that is my ZSHRC file, even though you can get that anyway. Dot files. Want this to be get checkout. I type get commands so much. Get checkout, main, get checkout, metric store. Like, I type these so much, I want those aliases. And yes, I know that aliases exist inside of Git itself. I just for some reason like having them on ZSH. Is it easier to port? Probably not. Oh yeah, I didn't put any sugar into this. Oh, not bad. Right. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? Dead right to lurking as I have crap done to do this weekend. No worries, Dry Bones. Thank you so much for stopping by. Much appreciated. Enjoy your time with the lab bots. Okay, so what would we need this to do? What all would we need this to look like? Let's draw this out. Let me get, I love how the label still shows over it regardless. God, that looks terrible. I hate it. Let's see, do I have... Ooh, I don't. I'm just getting my iPad connected. So we need to go to tabs, stream, bot. New meeting. Do not want to join with computer audio. Screen share. iPhone, iPad via AirPlay. It's one of the coolest features of Zoom, by the way. Yeah, there it is. Move that into view. Turn off the secrets. Voila! Movable, positionable whiteboard. Makes me so bloody happy. All right. Let me actually bring this over here. Oh yeah, remember when we were doing MVPs for the admin page? And when we actually had stream goals? And it's great to see that we haven't actually achieved any of these other bits. Which actually, no, that's not true. That's not true. Hey, retroactive to-do done. Yay. Just kidding, we're actually just gonna delete this page. Goodbye. All right. So, right? This is one of the most amazing features of Zoom. Being able to share my iPad as a screen. Fantastic for whiteboarding. Fantastic for interviews where the interviewer is not prepared with any type of whiteboarding tech. It's like, oh, I got you. Hang on, and then I just throw this up there, and they're like, "Nani?" Sure, that's okay. And of course, all right. So, how are we gonna do this? So when it comes to, metrics, there are a couple of things. Number one, we have subs, which in subs, we need a name and sub months, which is relatively good. We have bits, which is also name and bits amount. So the pattern still sticks, name plus total. Follow is just a name. Okay, that's not too terrible. What else do we want to track? Last sub, last bits. Follows. And I guess technically we could have custom stats if we really wanted to, but yeah. So if I were thinking about this from the perspective of a metrics store, it would more or less be something like that. So key value, because I'm fairly confident that this is just going to be a key value store for the purposes of simplicity and for the purposes of not having to write queries. And the value, we could call this label. So it does make me wonder how I would want to store this data. Because there's a part of me that kind of wants to make it a little bit generic. That potentially locks me into a model. I'm trying to think of, for the metrics store at least, if there's anything else that we would want to track. Because what I'd be thinking is that we would probably do something like for each handler. So this would be the handler that is making this text a reality. what it would do is it would say, so let's say the subs handler. That's going to do a store.fetch last sub. Last sub. So this is grab this key from the store, returns a value. I kind of want the value to be strongly typed because I don't want this to return an interface. I don't really want to return an interface, which is then typecasted to whatever the subhandler is looking for. I kind of just want this to be whatever this representation is. Sorry, Dry Bones. We program those bots, so they don't do that. I think this is mostly just a naming issue, but I am also trying to consider if there's more than just these two atoms that we would need. No worries, Dry Bones. You can leave anytime you want. All you have to do is walk out the front door. I appreciate it, mate. Yeah, I'm actually alternatively, what might be getting me a little bit, I think, is that I'm thinking too generically in terms of a metrics store. What this should probably be is a viewer metrics. Because if it's a viewer metric, then it becomes a little more explicit of user and then amount. So by that, we would get back a user metric in this case. And then the user metric would be a username and a value. Probably don't even have to call it amount. I could just generically call it value. But value, well, amount implies a number. So username is a string, amount is some integer. Store.fetch last sub returns a user metric, which for example could be Spooky Ghost Machine 5. So this would contain the information that is necessary, and then the sub handler can turn that into a message string. I think that makes sense. I think. Possibly. Yeah. I think that makes more sense. If we, instead of it being just a generic metric store, if we just call this a viewer metric store, or a user metric store, it depends on how we look at it, then that makes this a lot easier, because even in the case of follows, we only care about the user. So amount in this case would always be 0, just for the sake of storing something. And then we would store.fetch last sub, store.fetch last bits, store.fetch last follow. Now we have thing to do. Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Sounds like I know this. That's one of the reasons why I like having the why I like having this iPad. This iPad literally is my way to whiteboard ideas. Okay, so where is this value? This is in server. Where is server? Server is a top level. That don't sound right. Doesn't sound right because I'm pretty sure that would go into the bot. So what I'm thinking is having bot viewers, bot viewer, and then inside a bot viewer we would have bot viewer metric store. So inside of here, so type metrics, type viewer metrics struct or viewer metric. So viewer metric represents a viewer metric for on-screen. Well, not necessarily for on-screen usage. Viewer metric represents a viewer metric. That doesn't really help. Metric value tied to a viewer. So here we would have name and amount. Something like that. As viewer to viewer metric, and that's stutters. Consider calling this metric. Oh, that's cool. That's kind of cool. Hence the whole stuttering idea. Nice. So then we have the metric store. Which will metric store a key value store for viewer metric. So we have some things that we would need to do there. Func metric store fetch turns a metric. Should also say or returns an error if key not found. So this should be metric error. Something like that. Doo-doo. So that's the rough version of Yeah, that's the rough version of what we would end up with. Now, technically, this is not what we would actually do. We would probably have type metric store as an interface. Yeah, it's actually, let's do that. Interface. Key string returns a metric or an error. So now this would actually go somewhere, but that would be on a say like an in-memory version. So if I was to be really lazy, in-memory metric store, and then store is a map of string metric. In-memory metric store implements metric store in memory. So it would look something like this. So metric okay equals m dot store key. If not okay, return metric errors dot new. Key not found. Now, why is Ale picking that up? Oh, wait a minute. I think I know what's happening. I think I know what's happening. It's because I removed COC Go. Bear with me as I fix my editor. There we go. There we go. Okay, sorry. Over the last week or so, I was attempting to churn down the amount of tooling that I had for various versions, because at that time I had COC Go, I had what is it, Vim Go, and then I had Ale running Go linting. It was a whole thing. Anyway, so this is kind of, I think, the general idea of what I would want the metric store to do. We'll move the in-memory store here in a bit. So what this would need is a metric store. And this would be viewer.metric store. Yeah. And now this needs to be a thing. So we need to get from the request, we need to get, oh wait, no, in this case it would be yeah, in this case it would be the sub store. So it'd be, we need to put this probably into an enum, I would say. probably controlled by the bot. So we would do like this, metric, or we should say last sub equals metric store.fetch. Actually, this would be last sub error. If error does not equal to nil, then resp dot name equals, well, in this case, it's not technically, in this case, we actually don't care about the error. And what I'm thinking here is that if we don't get a last sub, then more or less that just means that we've got an empty message. So there's nothing to display. So really all we would do would be this, I think. Last sub dot name, months is last sub dot amount. The end. Right? Now, technically we've broken this to be this part. And then this would also need to have a, so we have our router, we have our viewer metrics store, viewer.metrics store. What's this complaint about? Function new should have a comment or be unexported. Okay. Oh. Well, that's interesting. Do something like that, I suppose. What's this? I love that linting. I love it. So good. So this is complaining because this should be base URL. Oop. Sure. It didn't update it though. Okay. And so now this needs to do s.viewerMetricsStore. This is complaining about something? No. FNT imported but not used. Excuse. Oh, right. Because we swapped over the thing. Duh. Okay, so this is a thing. Viewer metric store equals viewer dot in memory metric store. We'll fix that. And then in theory that should work. Think. Let's see here. Do I raid at the end of stream normally? Not normally, but today we are probably gonna raid Sorcery whenever we're done, because if I remember correctly, she is doing her art stream. Yeah. Yeah, so we will definitely be raiding Sorcery here in a minute. So I think what I wanted to do. Yeah, so what I wanted to do, and this would be test metric store. And I'm gonna grab this. Yoink. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have an s.router.handlefunc. This is gonna do test metrics. And then this is going to be test metrics store. And what this is gonna do is we're gonna say, oh, this needs to be S is a server. That's going to be like that. And then what this is going to do is s.viewerMetricStore. I need a put. Last sub. Name. Spooky. This is mostly just to test the tempt. Amount is 5. So now the problem is that we don't have a metric store. Put. So on this, it'll be key, string, value, metric. This can only return an error, although in this case, we won't really return an error because it'll be m.store key equals value, return nil. Put adds a new key value pair to the store. We'll definitely be cleaning this up here very soon, but this should give us, I think, most of what we need. Oh, right. We didn't add the yeah, we didn't add put. Metric. This can return an error. Do viewer.metric. You like that? Okay. So, how we're going to test this. See if this runs. That runs. And what I can do. Okay, so that's currently empty. Localhost 8080 test metrics. Is that what I called it? Nope. Assignment to entry in nil map. Oh, there, because I did a dumb. I forgot to func new in memory store. This will return a metric store. And actually, this needs to be a pointer. So this will return that, where store is make map string metric. I've been in Python world too long. Server. This is now new in-memory store. That's already a pointer, so we don't have to do that. Invalid composite literal type. I have no idea what that means. We'll find out, hopefully. Nope. Invalid composite literal type metric store. All right. Well, unfortunately, that is all the time that I'm gonna spend on this today, because we have an art stream to go to. So let me get this set up. So I want to raid at Sorcery and Sarcasm. Add on the function call is the problem. Aha. Okay. I will take a look at that here in a little bit. Because for now, it's time to raid the sorcery. So, thank you all so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. I know it's a short session, but it's time for Artstrim. So, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one. There was a thing there, but we're not gonna. Bye, everybody.